The Sarah Connor Chronicles. She's a very busy and prolific actor who's beloved around the globe, but especially beloved by us, by fans of sci-fi and genre. So it's my pleasure to introduce her, and please give her a big Calgary Expo welcome to Summer Glau. They wanted me to sit like this, but I'm already pretty short, so I'm gonna do this. Here we go. How are you, Summer?
Oh, I'm nervous.
Are you nervous?
I'm very happy to be here. I'm loving Calgary.
You're loving Calgary?
Yeah.
Now, is it your first time in the city?
Yes, I've been to Canada before, but this is my first trip to Calgary.
Cool. Can everybody hear Summer okay in the back? We're good? Just want to make sure. So you come to conventions like this, you're beloved by fans. Do you ever get used to it? Is it a surreal experience? You said that you were nervous. She said that backstage as well. But I mean, you do all these roles, you know? So is it surreal coming to a convention like this?
Always. This is especially surreal. I wish I played some kind of sport or something. Ice skated or...
Maybe we'll see if they have like footballs and we can kick them to the back. Like, no, me neither. But you got a heck of a kick. You could probably do okay. So it's okay with you. We're going to take a lot of audience questions, and we are set up high-tech for the 21st century here. We have a number of moderators out getting questions from people. But first off, I want to ask you, I want to go back a lot of years before most of the roles that we know and love you for, and I want to go back to your very first starring TV role in Angel. Ballerina, which is significant given your past, but it's very significant given the trajectory of your career because, of course, it was your introduction to Joss Whedon. So can you talk a bit about that, about auditioning for that role and meeting Joss for the first time?
I wore a ballet costume to my audition, which I didn't know at the time. It was one of my very first auditions, and I didn't know you weren't really supposed to dress like your character. It kind of makes you like unprofessional, like if you're new. Right. So I stood there in front of Joss and wore my ballet outfit just in case he was going to ask me to dance, because I actually missed the dance audition. I was back home in Texas, and so my manager kind of snuck me into the callback to read for Joss. I wasn't even supposed to go. So I got in there, and I read my lines, and he goes, "Huh, where have you been?" And he turned over my resume, and I had made up a few things, and he goes, "Oh, you were doing Paint Your Wagon at Majestic Theater in San Antonio, Texas." That's like all I had on there. And,
he meant like, "Where have you been all my life?" Right?
Well, I think he was joking. And so I turned around and left, and I thought I'd never see him again. And then I gathered up my things, and I was walking out, and the casting director called me back in and said, "Joss wants you to come back in and do it with an accent." So I went in and I did it with a British accent, and they cast me there, in the room.
Without the dancing audition?
Without seeing, the choreographer was freaked out. Joss told me that he said, unless she has cement feet, she's getting this part.
So they didn't even know you were a kick-ass dancer?
No. Yeah, and I never got to dance Giselle in real life. It's such a prestigious storied ballet, and not very many girls get to dance it, so I got to dance it on national TV. I thought that was pretty funny.
So all the old people in your ballerina company, you said, yeah.
I know.
So I don't see anything here on the screen yet, but that doesn't mean there aren't questions out there. So are there any questions at this point? Oh, they lit up the crowd. So I think we've got are the moderators with the microphones, could they maybe put up their hand to show us where they are, if they're out there? At this point, there's a moderator in the mic. Do you have a question back there? We do. So can you, tell us your name and your question for Summer?
Hi, my name's Rod, and I'm wondering, you guest starred on Chuck, and I'm wondering if you're going to be back for the last season of Chuck.
I would love to go back. I had an amazing time with that cast, and it's a really, really fun place to work, and I liked the role a lot. I would, of course, go back if they ever wanted me to come back. I had fun seeing Adam again too. He he's always great and helps me a lot with my lines and helps me decide, how to play certain scenes. And I really enjoyed playing that role. So we'll see. Maybe I'll tell him that you suggested that I come back.
Is that involved in like his characters in real life? Does he kind of have the gruff thing?
A little bit. He's such a dad. He's got three kids, and he's just always. I always feel like I want to toe the line around him.
Right. You want to get that in.
Exactly.
Is there another moderator at the side? Maybe do we have somebody there? If you put up your hand, there we go. Nope. Oh, and you point to that. There we go. Oh, up there. Hey, how are you? Do you have a question up there for Summer?
Hi, Summer. Wow, that's loud. My name's Jason. Oh, hi. So I may have said a few curse words watching the last episode of Terminator. It kind of left things hanging. And I know when that got canceled, when Firefly got canceled, a lot of people were really upset. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on the fans' reactions when those shows went off the air and how supportive they were.
Well, particularly with Firefly, I thought it was the end of my world when that got canceled, and I didn't know what to expect. It was really one of my very first jobs, and I felt like I was just being separated from my family. I remember Josh saying, "I'm going to try to figure something out," but I don't think that any of us could have imagined that we would come back and make this beautiful big movie from our series. And I know, and all of us know, that it never would have happened if we hadn't had extraordinary, miracle-making fans. So thank you everyone, because that was the experience of a lifetime. I got to see Europe. I got to go to Europe to do press for that movie, and that movie changed my life. And miracles happen, and it wouldn't have happened without the love and devotion of fans. So thank you.
Can you talk a bit about playing River Tam? Because I've read and seen you in interviews too talk about it as this life-changing role for you, your first big recurring role, a very interesting character, very isolated. Can you talk a bit about how you played her? I was always particularly impressed at how serene you remained while kicking ass. Can you talk a bit about how you approach the character of River Tam?
Well, I felt that River, for some reason, came really naturally to me. And when I first auditioned for it, I just had 2 pages of dialogue. I wasn't allowed to read the script, and I didn't even know if there was a script available. So I read those 2 pages, and I knew her. I felt like I knew her, and it felt so natural to me. And partly that's just the way Joss writes. His dialogue just moves actors. But in the series, I did feel isolated. I was new. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had to get constant help from everyone around me trying to understand how to do my job. And I just kind of used it. I used the fact that she was isolated and that she had a hard time communicating, and that the whole experience just felt really natural for me.
I'm fascinated reading about you and how you were homeschooled up to grade 12 and so focused on dancing. Was that ever an isolating experience, and did you channel that at all into River?
Absolutely. I think I was so serious about ballet, and most of my friends were adults because I danced pretty much full time and I taught, and so I used all of it, and I think I had a lot of raw, nervous energy too, and I used that too. and it was an amazing learning experience. I don't know if I had been working with a different group of actors if it would have been such a safe environment for me to make mistakes like I did. Cool. Not knowing how to stand on my mark and blocking, I blocked the camera constantly. And the camera operator would say, "You're completely missing in the shot. You can't hide behind another actor in the scene." And I would there, you had to move me, and I I needed some work.
Well, it worked out pretty well. I think we all agree. Right down in front here, the gentleman in the red. Oh no, it's a red shirt. Stay away from him.
Hi, Summer. I really liked you in the unit. You did a small arc in the unit. I think everybody here wants to know if there's a new Terminator movie and they ask you to be a Terminator, would you do it? And if so, if there's a battle between you and Arnold, who would win?
You will never gonna catch me in this lifetime saying anything about being able to fight with Arnold. Can't. He's one of a kind. Of course, I asked them, I said, I knew one of the producers from the last Terminator movie, and I said, can you just like let me walk through the background one time or something, or let me be in there somehow? And I guess they never got me my letters or phone calls.
Cool. Other questions? Scanning the room for the yellow shirts. Up there. We haven't gone up there yet. So there we go. Yeah, the young lady up there. Do you have a question for someone? Sir?
Hi, you were saying that River Tam came very naturally to you as a character. Of the characters that you've played so far, which has been the most difficult?
Thank you, that's a good question. You know, at the beginning, it was really difficult for me to figure out Cameron because I wanted to find a way to make people feel that they could relate to her, and I struggled with it at first, and then I think that people embraced her, and that meant a lot to me. But I had many meetings with Josh Friedman and with David Nutter about how to play a robot, and so I think in the end it was ultimately the most rewarding because I loved how much of an arc she had, and I loved how much she grew, and I felt like by the end she really was a part of me, and I miss her. She's very special character, but probably the most challenging.
Did you appreciate the arc that they gave the character? Obviously, we didn't see it fulfill, unfortunately, but I really like when we learned that Cameron had a form of emotion. So did you like the way that they wrote her, and did you see the twists coming that were laid in the road in front of you?
I think that Josh is a poet. I think that he really he created a very, very soulful interpretation, I think, of